we're happy and we're singing and we're colored. Give me a high five.
What is going on, you guys? It's your boy Joe Castro, aka Philly Fresco, and today, obviously, it is the best of enemies. So I'm here with my guy, Big Game James. Man, we about to get into these quarterbacks, man. This is like a hot button topic. I feel like everybody has different opinions on this, so I'm excited. I obviously looked at both of the lists, so I think people are going to be interested to see how fair. In my opinion, we both were. I think we both were honest. We were both fair. We didn't really go in here trying to put our horse ahead of the other. So I think it's going to be
Mm-hmm.
interesting. But how you been, James? How you been, man? It's been a week.
Man, been doing good. Been on the grind. Been doing a lot of my high school things. Shout out to all the high school kids I've been interviewing. Really appreciating, grateful of that. And OTAs, mini camp is right around the corner, so we're getting ready to do the same thing. So I'm really excited about that. Rookies, veterans are getting mixed up. So here it is, dog. It is finally here. You feel me? It's finally here.
Yeah, it's nice to finally kind of see where your team is headed. Like the Eagles, obviously, I feel like we just wasted, and we're gonna get a guy on here to talk about the Eagles OTA. But in my heart of hearts right now, I kind of feel like it was a wasted OTAs. I feel like it was just we didn't really do anything. But it is what it is. It's the
But
NFL.
y'all did
I'm
everything.
obviously
Y'all
not a
did
coach.
everything in that off season, so
Exactly.
that took care of everything. So it was going to be quiet on the front because y'all really made a lot of waves during the off season. So
Yeah.
probably will want to be quiet in the OTAs. Just kind of keep everything on the hush. I would like that.
Yeah, I'm more so for me. It was like what we did at the practices and stuff. Like they were like 55-minute practices. They were very short practices. So I was a little bit upset about that. But it is what it is. I mean, we'll see what happens. Until the season starts, I can't be down on these guys because they did the same thing last year and we were able to perform. It took us a little while to get together, and I feel like we're gonna fall into that trap again where it's going to take us a couple weeks or maybe hopefully a week or two, that we really get on the same page with the offense. The defense really understands where everybody plays. But I hope I'm wrong. I could definitely be wrong. Obviously, we still have training camp, we still have preseason, so there's time. It just, I'm old school. We were talking about this before we even hopped on. We're old
Mm-hmm.
school. I'm
Mm-hmm.
used to, those hard nosed practices. We talked about it with
Yep.
Kyle last week.
Yep.
I'm just used to that. And it's weird to me. It's really weird to me. I know I'm probably the only one on that train, but it is what it is. We'll see what happens, right? We'll definitely see what happens. But I do want to talk about your interviews, man, because you have been killing it. You had a quarterback on this week. Last time, I think it was a wide receiver, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes,
You've been
sir.
killing it. What made you start doing that? Because you did talk to me about it a little bit off camera before you even started it, but I think that you should tell people why you really did that because it was a cool story why you want to do it. But yeah, what was the thought process behind that?
Well, like I tried to tell, when I went into media school in 2016, my original goal was to do high school football, high school basketball, high school sports in general, and the realm was to create a platform for young athletes out there to have a voice and to be able to get some shine, and to be able to open doors for possible scholarships, getting into school,
Mm-hmm.
let people know who they are. That was the original plan. And it was all I had created actually a high school show with a friend of mine in school at that period of time. But then, like I said, I met my producer G, and I just feel like maybe it was an opening from the man upstairs saying that let's go ahead and go hard with these Cowboys because I've always been a Cowboys fan from birth, and there's a passion with that. So I was able to create a platform going hard with my Cowboys. The door really opened in those 3-4 years to really go hard, but that burning inside of me was still with the kids and the youth and opening doors for them. And now that I actually have a platform for it, so it's like I have a reach, I have a voice that we can go ahead and really reach people now because maybe it would have happened if I just strictly went high school. The reach may not have been as good as it is. So now that came about, I just went hard and just trying to been talking to a lot of the young men out there, and the response has been great. I actually have a Mississippi beat writer coming on tomorrow
Mm.
who's going to break down all of Mississippi football. They got like 61,000 followers on their Facebook. He said it would be great because they've been looking for more exposure, and that's what I'm just really trying to do. Doesn't matter what state, doesn't matter. We're just trying to continue to open up doors. And like I said, I've been having great young men on there, grades, just everything. They've been, great stories already, and I love it already. And it's just the passion is just resonating in me, and I just can't wait to continue to keep it growing. And I got some more interviews lined up on deck, and I just feel like it's a great story to really open these doors for kids. And the thing I love about it too, Joe, is that we may some of these kids you may interview, they go to college, they may go to the pros, and you could say,
Yeah.
hey, we were able to chart their story from high school all the way to the NFL. That to me would be pretty amazing. So, that's what we're really trying to do.
Yeah, no, like I said, we talked about it off camera, and when you told me about it, I was like, "That's dope!" Like, so, and seeing it, in actual installation is even better. It's awesome. I love what you're doing, and they are very good interviews. These kids need, especially like states like Texas, states like
Yeah.
big states like that, where little things, any little thing, and I'm not calling your show a little thing, obviously,
Oh
but
yeah, yeah,
you
yeah.
know
I
what I'm
feel you.
trying to say. Anything that they can do to get their name out there is huge.
Mm-hmm.
So, giving
Mm-hmm.
them that major platform that you bring with you, and the knowledge that you have of sports, so you're asking the right questions, that's priceless for these kids. So I commend you on it. I'm a big fan of it as well. So I'm glad you're doing it. So anybody that's watching, definitely go check that out if you haven't already. But I wanted to bring that up because it is definitely something that I love that you're doing. But
Hey, I
let's talk a
appreciate
little
that
bit.
big time.
Yeah, of course. Let's talk about a little bit about quarterbacks. All right. Before
Yeah.
we get into these lists, so we
Mm-hmm.
obviously are going to do the top 32. Today we're going to do the top 17 because I can't do math. And then we're going to do the 15 next week. So we're going to do the bottom 17 this week and then top 15 next week. But
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to ask you a question, kind of irrelevant of their rankings. I want to talk about a specific situation that kind of was on my mind when I was making this list. I don't know if it was on yours, probably was a little bit. Obviously, the whole Deshaun Watson situation, you got Baker Mayfield in the fold. I went with the assumption that Baker Mayfield was going to be their starter, but what do you think is going to happen out there? What would you do if you were Baker Mayfield?
Wow, that's tough. I mean, and to be very honest with you, if I'm Baker, I feel what he's feeling. Like, y'all just went and got Deshaun, and y'all just signed him to a guaranteed contract and all this stuff, and now you don't know what's going on because you have all this sexual assault. So I'd be like, don't come trying to holler at me now to come in there and play for these Browns. I want trade. I would be like this. I want to get traded. I want to play for somebody else because obviously you're not messing with me. You gave this man a guaranteed deal. That's almost unheard of, especially with everything that's been going on. Y'all gave him guaranteed money. So basically, you ain't thinking about me no more. Can we say that you're not thinking about me anymore? And the fact that they haven't been able to get rid of him or deal him, I feel like that's just a messy situation. It could mess up their season, in my opinion. They have a lot of talent on their team, man. And yes, Deshaun Watson's a dog. We know he is. But how this situation happened, how it brought in, I feel like it may cause a lot of friction in that room. So if I'm Baker, I'm still like, no, I ain't really trying to play for this team. Get me out of here and find me a trade partner, or release me, find me somewhere else to go. Because after you do that, how do you come back and play for a team that actually does not believe in you at all?
Yeah, no, it's a fact. And to kind of to piggyback off of that, I should say, like, who would even what's his value, right? Like, because I don't want to give away too much about our list, but we didn't have him in the top 5, top 10. I don't think that
Right,
that's
right,
giving away too
right.
much, right? So
Mm-hmm.
he's not a guy that goes into a situation, in my opinion, at least, and totally turns it around, right? He's not a guy that brings you to a Super Bowl or puts you on his back, or at least has not shown that yet. So, like, what really is his value? It's a sticky situation because he's obviously tied to what's going on there in Cleveland, and there are stories that he may just get outright cut. But
Mm-hmm.
who brings him in? Does a team like the Philadelphia Eagles, who's unsure about Jalen Hurts, think he's more of an upgrade? Who's the team?
No,
I can't
no,
even
don't do
like.
that.
Is it Houston Texans? Are the Houston? Yeah, because like that doesn't make sense
I,
to
I
me. But like,
I'm just be honest with you, Joe. He was a number one pick. I mean, he's not a bad quarterback, but Baker just to me don't have it. You know what I'm saying? I just feel like
yeah.
he's not that guy. I just feel like he's just a stopgap starter. Kind of like they were pumping up the Drew Lock and the Daniel Jones. He's like a stopgap starter. Like he's not a guy that you're going to have for the next 5 years be your starter. He's a backup to me. And like a team like Seattle now that has Drew Lock, I could see him starting there. You could bring him in, he could compete and maybe start because he's been a starter in the league. I think he's better than a Drew Lock. So he could come in a Seattle situation and compete and possibly start. but you're not looking at him as being your guy that's going to be your quarterback for the next 5 years unless he plays phenomenal. And I just don't see it, Joe. I just feel like he's a backup, and I feel like the Cleveland Browns just really overdrafted him. We saw what he did his rookie year, but I mean, I just feel like he's a backup in my opinion, and that's the situation he needs to go to. And the only way he can be a starter is if it's like in a Pittsburgh where the Mitchell Trubisky is there for the 1 year and then you get somebody else. But I just feel like he's a stopgap player now.
Yeah, it's weird because he might be in the best situation for him. It sucks, like as far as like how they're treating you and how everything's going. Obviously, they don't want you, but now there's a big need. This is the type of situation you needed to find for you to
Right.
get out of Cleveland. It just sucks that it's happening in the place that you wanted to get out of. So it's kind of weird. It really does suck, but it's funny because, like I said, that was coming up on my mind when I'm doing this because it's like I'm not putting Deshaun Watson in there. This man might never play football again. Like
Right.
it's getting ridiculous at this point. But and then you look at other guys. You look at a whole bunch of different teams. There's obviously a Drew Lock out there that may be a starter in this upcoming year. You're looking at a lot of different team situations, and it's like Davis Mills, how big of an upgrade is Baker Mayfield to him? And price wise, what is that going to look like? Because that comes into play too. So it's like
Davis
it's
Mills
just
wasn't that bad to me, Joe. You feel me? Like
I
Davis
don't think
Mills.
he was.
Yeah, so I would still keep let him compete, but I'm still looking at my Davis Mills. He's a young guy, so I know Mayfield's not old, but I just feel like he's just a backup. And I seen some people in my chat saying, "What about Baker as a backup for us?" I wouldn't mind it as long as he don't cause no stink or just chill. I don't
Yeah.
think he wants to be a backup because I feel like he thinks he's a starter in this league. So I think that's where might be the problem because he believes he's still a starter in this league. But shoot, I wouldn't mind a Baker Mayfield as a backup to Dak Prescott. No, I wouldn't because I definitely feel like he's better than a Cooper Rush, and I definitely feel like he could come in and win some games. You know what I mean? So I would definitely be cool with a Baker Mayfield being a backup to the Cowboys because I don't feel like he'd be any threat to a Dak Prescott.
Yeah, unfortunately, I don't think we could say the same thing about the Philadelphia Eagles. I mean,
Right.
the Eagles. It really comes down to our fan base, though. That's really kind of on us. I don't think you could really say that with many other teams. Like we
Mm-hmm.
just don't know how to act whenever there's two good quarterbacks. We just
Yeah.
want to start up a controversy. So,
Mm-hmm.
in theory, it would be cool. But I like Gardner Minshew. I think that Gardner Minshew is a clear step below. And I don't think he's worse than Jalen Hurts in the sense of like you throw them out there and you won't get a similar result right now. But I think that the upside is what you look at in a Jalen Hurts and see that it's clearly above what you think a Gardner Minshew may become. So, I don't know if they feel the same way about a Baker Mayfield. It's a little bit closer. Like, Baker Mayfield does have a lot of physical tools and he hasn't really played up to obviously his first round potential. And everybody always thinks they can fix quarterbacks. So I just hope we don't
Mm-hmm.
get into that situation at all. It's not worth it to me. And another question I wanted to ask is
Mm-hmm.
going through this quarterbacks list. How
Mm-hmm.
over the past decade, I'll say the quarterback position has gotten more and more important to the NFL. Right, it's become more and more important to the success of your team. How much so do you think? Do you think that's changing at all? Looking at these teams, like you used to have Aaron Rodgers, you used to have a Tom Brady to be that team, but now you're looking at all the weapons around them. Is it more so about that than it is just solely on the quarterback as it has been in a lot of previous years?
That's an interesting question. I don't know. I think right now maybe it might be 50-50 because we've seen guys that aren't like great quarterbacks and you just build a team around them, get them solid receivers, a good offensive line. You can win games. And the leadership quality to me is huge now. To me, for the quarterback position, yes, talent, but if you can lead and have some pretty good talent and you can build a team around them, you can win games. You can go to a Super Bowl. Look at Jared Goff. Jared Goff went to a Super Bowl. We're gonna say Jared Goff was a Super Bowl quarterback, but he went. But what happened?
Facts.
You had the Rams. They built a team around him, and they got to the Super Bowl. We've seen it time and time again for if you can get a good team around them. Now, I feel like if it's a situation, Joe, where you consistently want to be up there on top, yeah, I think you got to get that guy because that guy is going to get you those victories, pull those victories out for you, maybe put the team on his back a game or two. That's what that franchise does. So if you consistently want to be a winner, like the Green Bay Packers, even though they haven't got to a championship, to the Super Bowl, right? They're consistently getting there. Why? I believe because Aaron Rodgers is that different. So why they consistently get up there? Because they have the talent. That quarterback, the way he is, he's going to consistently take them there. Now, if you got a regular type quarterback with good talent, I feel like you'll win games. But when it comes to the playoffs, you're not going to get there. You only probably just get beat early. But that's where I feel like that we talked about the franchise quarterback getting you past those big playoff games. And I think that's why a lot of people are looking at Dak or just other guys. When you get in there, you got to get over the hump. Now, we can sit there and say, well, Aaron Rodgers, he's a beast, but he ain't won it. But he's still getting you consistently there. And I feel like if you don't got that guy, he's not going to consistently get you there where you can feel like you can compete for that Super Bowl every single year.
I respect that. And this kind of goes off of what we were talking about. And I think this is a good question. And I want to pose this question towards you as well. I'm going to answer obviously the question, but looking at it from a Dallas point of view, being with Dak's situation and his money and everything, I want to know how you feel about it. But my opinion on this, shout out to Shonsky saying, honestly, Joe, are you worried that Hurts squeaks into the playoffs against the weak NFC East and we're stuck with a barely above average quarterback like Dak? Then you overpay and can't upgrade like Dallas did. We'll take away the shots. We'll take away the obvious shots.
That's not true. Yeah, that's obvious shots. But yeah, before you answer that, that's an obvious shot, but that's not true. Dallas is the way they finagle the cap. You've seen the Rams. Dallas just doesn't want to do that. Dallas can do the same thing like these other teams with the Rams and things of that nature, but we have somebody called Steven Baby Nuts Jones. And because of that, Dallas won't spend that money to make things happen. So it's not like Dallas can't upgrade and do things in free agency. They don't want to because of the ownership. It can definitely happen. So that's not the Cowboys players, it's the ownership.
Yeah, and we've talked about that before too. So it's funny that it comes back up. But to answer the question, I've said this before. I do get nervous about that. I do, but at the same time, it's like if you're a good team, if we get into the playoffs and we win a playoff game and we look like a team that got better, Jalen Hurts looks like he got better, even if it's marginally, I can sit there and understand them saying, well, listen, we're going to extend him for 3 years, 25 mil per. Something like that, something cheap. And they're like, this, he knows that he needs to get better. We know he needs to get better, but he's somebody we want to grow with. So we'll commit to you and we're going to continue to grow the team around him. I can eat that. I can deal with that. I can live with that. If he, if we barely make the playoffs, like if it's a repeat of this past year, if it's a repeat of this past season, and we go out there and say we're giving him 35 mil for 4 years or 5 years, yeah, no, I'm gonna be a little bit upset about that because I need to see more before I can pay him. I can't pay him right now 35 mil per. I can pay him right now 20 to 25 and feel okay with that and understand the quarterback value and the position that you're in with a young guy like him. But yeah, no, I'm not breaking the bank for somebody that barely makes the playoffs. I know playoff wins are a team stat, wins in general are a team stat, but last year there was a lot of games that he did not win us. You talk to a lot of Eagles fans and they'll be like, oh, if you look at the second half, he put them on their back. Not really. We took the ball out of his hand. That's really kind of what happened there. So I can't see that again. If it takes us taking the ball out of his hand to win football games, then he's not, in my opinion, humble opinion, no offense to him. Hopefully Mama Hurts ain't watching. This is no offense. He's not worth that $35-40 million that quarterbacks are getting. So I would get nervous there. But if he makes a sizable jump and he's out there balling out and all you see is the upside, I wouldn't be surprised if they did it. I wouldn't be surprised. But I don't know. That's a long-winded answer, but that's my answer.
No, I definitely agree with it. I'm just listening to a lot of people in comments. Shout out to the chat. Shout out to you guys out there. You guys are coming with a lot of good stuff. Appreciate you guys on both sides. But when I look at, just going off that question when they say the overpaid Dak, I just really can't agree with that. Because when you really look at when Dak came in, and I'm not using the 4th round thing, but if you look at how Dak came in and what he's done every year, if you're saying we're talking about guys getting paid, correct? he has gotten better every year. It's not like he's gotten worse. It's not like he's fell off. He has made himself into a very good quarterback, in my opinion. He didn't sit down. He didn't sit back and just say this and that. He really put the work in, dog. And you can see how much Dak has gotten better from 2016. And when people say his playoff record, come on, man. If y'all really looked at that game against Green Bay, that was not Dak Prescott's fault or why the Dallas Cowboys lost against the Green Bay Packers that game. You understand what I'm saying? When Dallas, they beat the Seattle Seahawks in that round. That was Dak against Russell Wilson. Dak won that game at the end. And then even in the Rams, that was not Dak that lost that game against the Rams. That was our defense. Now, we can honestly say Dak missed some things in that San Francisco game. He didn't play his best game. I'll be the first to admit that. But I will also say when your offensive line is playing atrocious, if your offensive line is playing terrible, and if your offensive coordinator is calling these same redundant calls where the defense can find out who you are because it was factually known that they knew our plays, how are you putting your quarterback in the best position to win the game when those things are happening? So I make no excuses for Dak. Go on my page. I say he's got to make better throws. He's got to get more gunslinger. He's got to get better. But at the same time, you got to look at the situation with our offensive coordinator. The offensive line was in flux toward the end. Those things are bigger factors than people might want to say. And then you had Ezekiel Elliott who had a torn up knee, and you weren't playing Tony Pollard. I mean, what the heck do you expect this dude to do?
Yeah, you guys have to make it. We talked about this last week with Kyle, right? You guys have to make more of a commitment to that run game because that's really, especially now with the depletion. I don't want to say depletion. It's not like you guys are terrible, but losing a couple pieces at that wide receiver spot. So we'll see what happens. We'll definitely see what happens. I think Dak is very good. My thing is, you can win football games without having an elite quarterback. Like having an elite quarterback to me, and you look through this list, you look at this bottom 16, bottom 17, because I can't do math. But you look at these players, a lot of these guys we're going to be sitting here talking about, they're probably going to make the playoffs, right? Like these guys can make the playoffs. So it's nice to have, like you said, if you want that long-term 10-year kind of just, continuity, you have a guy that's going to consistently bring you there, then yeah, you have to go out there and get you a guy like that. But it's very possible to just go out there and win with quarterbacks, right? Like they don't have to be the marquee of your team. But I do want to get into these. I want to get into these bottom 17. So why don't we do it like this? I'm gonna pull up mine, and I'll have you kind of go through it, and you tell me where anything. We'll go through the players. So we'll go through the first five, bottom five. And then you just kind of tell me what questions you have there, and then we'll flip flop and we'll do it like that. So we kind of go through every player a little bit.
I like that.
So obviously, like I said, we're going through the bottom 17, and this is going to be mine. So this is how we got it going. We got Drew Lock at 32. I got Daniel Jones at 31, Zach Wilson at 30, Sam Darnold at 29, and Davis Mills rounds out my bottom 5. How are you feeling about that?
Well, I'm going to agree with those last two, Drew Lock, Daniel Jones. Drew Lock, they were hyping him when he came out of college. He had a year where he threw almost 3,000 yards, but he had like 16 touchdowns, 15 interceptions. He just really hasn't improved, so I agree with that. I think Daniel Jones, I said when he was coming out of college, that was a mistake. I actually talked to a guy who was a quarterback for the Cowboys. He said, no, Daniel Jones is going to be good. And I said, I don't really see it. And I just feel like, he's got an arm. He's athletic, but he's just turnover prone. I just don't feel like he's the guy. And I just don't understand why they're kind of trying to latch on to him. But I get it. They don't want to probably admit their mistake. So they're probably trying to give him another chance. But I agree with that. But here's where I kind of disagree with your last three. You got Davis Mills, Sam Darnold, and Zach Wilson. Me personally, I would put probably Mills at 30 for you from me, and then put Sam Darnold right there, and then I put Zach Wilson above them because I believe Zach Wilson has talent. Matter of fact, I put Zach Wilson above all the QBs, including Trevor Lawrence as from that class of last year. I feel like I saw a lot of traits in him that's going to say he's going to be nice. They got him a good offense around him in that draft. They got the running back from Iowa State, Brycey, I believe, and then they got a good receivers. They got the Garrett Wilson from Ohio State. So they're putting weapons in him. And when I watched him, man, he's got the arm. Jets weren't really a good team, but I like that coach over there, and I believe in. I think Zach Wilson is going to have, not to say a phenomenal year, but I think his year two is going to be very good, and I like his potential. I love his arm. I think he's a good quarterback. I think he's going to be one of the better ones going in the future. So I'm taking him above Sam Darnold. Sam Darnold got rid of for the Jets. You flopped in Darnold. Carolina keeps on telling everybody he's a franchise. No, you're not. You're a backup to me. And Davis Mills. I like how he showed a little bit, over there in
Yeah, he
Houston. He
definitely
he
did.
he got he threw some big time throws, has some little get back, but he had a nice little ability, and I like that as a young player for where they moved on from Deshaun Watson. So from that aspect, I like him. I would take him over Darnold because he's young, and we kind of know what Darnold is. We don't know what Davis is yet. We kind of know what Sam Darnold is. But Zach Wilson, I'm moving him way up. I like him.
Yeah, Zach. I mean, I don't know. Maybe I have something against Zach. When I was
I
looking at
think you
his,
do. I think you do.
I might. I was looking at his tape when he was first coming out, and I did like a in depth. I did one of those because I'm going to school obviously for
Right.
sportscasting as well, and you got to do like the
Mm-hmm.
scripts and everything as part
Mm-hmm.
of it. So I had like my little phase where I was doing those for all the guys, which I might get back to. Long story short, I did one for Zach Wilson, and I found out that he basically was crying at like because he lost Mr. Utah and like just a lot of different things that I heard about his personality and stuff that I was just like, I don't know. Like, I don't think the type of guy that I would want in Philly, you know what I'm saying? And then I kind of just latched on to that he had a bad year. There's a lot of bad things statistically, but there are
But
some
he's in
things
New
that you look
York,
at.
Joe. He's in New York
Yeah,
too, though. Now I know
yeah,
Philly's crazy, but so is New York.
yeah, yeah. And I mean, we'll see. We'll see. I don't know. I just don't believe in Zach Wilson.
I
Like I
got
said,
you.
it might just be something I have personally against him. I don't know why, but I just really don't see the talent. Like I said, I see a lot of stats that are very, very poor. But when you really, I watched a couple, different people breaking him down. Watching a couple Jets guys going over his film and stuff, and I see why there's hope there. I understand, when you look at the mechanics and things that he can easily fix if he takes the time this offseason, that he can become a great player. But I don't know. I just need to see this consistency from him. That's my biggest thing. But
Mm-hmm.
we'll see. We'll see. I could be 100% wrong, but I do like Davis Mills a lot. And we'll see what happens with the rest. But let's get to your bottom five, I should say. So
Mm-hmm.
for your bottom
Mm-hmm.
five, I'll let you go through it.
You going through mine? I just did yours.
Oh yeah. So so you got Drew Lock here at 32, 31
Mm-hmm.
Daniel Jones. So I think we have the exact same.
Yep.
Mitchell Trubisky, okay, Davis Mills, and then Trey Lance. All right, I got to look at mine again just to make sure where I have people, so I'm not talking junk and have them at the same spot. I like Trey Lance. See, okay, so maybe it's the Trey Lance versus Zach Wilson story. Maybe that's
Could
the
be.
story we
Could
gotta.
be.
You know what I'm saying? Maybe that's the thing we got to look out for. I personally like Trey Lance. I think that he has all the tools. I think that he was in an offense that didn't want to utilize him last year. We'll see what happens. I just feel like they wanted to go with the vet. They wanted to see what they could get out of Jimmy Garoppolo. He was doing decent enough. I would have pulled him a couple times in the playoffs, but they didn't.
Mm-hmm.
I think Trey Lance is that dude. I don't know. I got a lot of love for Trey Lance, so I put him a little bit higher. Where did I have him? Did I have him? I didn't have him too much higher. I only had him one higher than yours. But
Yeah.
either way,
See.
Mitchell Trubisky, I don't even think should be in the NFL. If I'm being 100% honest, that's why I didn't even put him on this list. I just think and even he's another guy. When he first came out of the league, I did not like him at all. I thought
No,
I
not at
just thought
all.
he had a whole bunch of cockiness, like a whole bunch of attitude, and really not much to show for it. Right? It's kind of the same thing with not Zach Wilson. Is it Zach Wilson I was thinking of? Was he from UNC? Where did he go?
Uh,
Zach
Zach
Wilson
Wilson
went
went to
to
BYU.
BYU. Yeah,
BYU.
I'm not thinking
Mm-hmm.
about him. Who am I thinking of? That went not Sam Howell.
I
Who
went to
was it that had? Anyways, there was a quarterback that recently came out that I kept on, kind of comparing him to, but he had one really good year. I'm good. I'm good on him. I just don't like him at all. But the only
Mm-hmm.
one I would really go to war with is like the Trey Lance. I like Trey Lance a little bit better. Obviously, in my list, I only put him at 27, but I like Trey Lance. So I'm not hating on this. I like it.
Mm-hmm.
I
Yeah.
really
See, yeah.
there's I
Not too
think we
bad.
pretty close.
Yeah, we
except for
close.
Mitchell Trubisky. That's really it.
Yeah,
Mitchell
I mean,
Trubisky is
I mean Mitchell Trubisky. I don't think he's anything special, but you know, if we're
yeah.
that's why he's at the bottom half of my list. You feel me? Because I don't think he's anything special, but he has won a few games in the NFL. I think he could be a stopgap there until they drafted the kid from Malik Willis, right? Did they grab
Yeah.
Malik? They grabbed
The
that?
Lions?
Yeah, no. Who got Malik Willis?
Lions, I think, right?
The Lions got him. Are you sure?
Did they? No, I might be
Who the
I might be
Pittsburgh?
tripping.
I thought Pittsburgh picked up a quarterback.
Pittsburgh picked up Kenny Pickett.
Oh, Pickett. Yeah, okay. So there we go. So Kenny Pickett, I feel like
Oh,
I
he
don't
went to the
even know if he's a
Titans. That's where he went to. That's
yeah, he went to the Titans. But I don't even know if Kenny Pickett's a franchise. You know what I'm saying? But
yeah.
I think he can still compete with Trubisky and play. So I just feel like Trubisky is just a stopgap. He might win a game or two, but we know what Trubisky is.
Yeah,
Thank you,
no, that's
Chad,
a
for letting me
fact.
know about my fault about the Willis thing. But yeah.
I don't know why I kept this chat up so long. But yeah, the Titans got him. Yeah, the Titans. That's an interesting. I forgot all about that.
That's
I don't
not a
know
bad
why.
pick. Yeah, that's not a bad
Yeah,
pick
I kind
either.
of forgot all about that. I don't know why I kept saying the Lions. Everybody was saying the Lions was going to get him. Now we'll go to the other five, I guess, like the
Mm-hmm.
top of the bottom five. I don't know how to really say it.
Mm-hmm.
But we Trey Lance, like I said, I had Trey Lance literally one above, and then I had Justin Fields like two above. Trevor Lawrence I put at 25. Carson Wentz I put at 24, and then Baker Mayfield, who we were talking about, I put at 23. What's your thoughts on
All
that?
right. So you got let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4. This part, you know what? I don't really disagree so much with this right here. Trey Lance, Justin Fields. I'll take Justin Fields over Trey Lance right now because I felt like Justin Fields showed more, got more starts, so he showed more. And I like Justin Fields. I think he's got to get the right type of coordinator to really bring the best out of him. I'm gonna be honest with you with Trevor Lawrence. They keep on saying he's like this all-world talent, like unworld godly talent. I don't see that. Me
Yeah,
personally, I don't see this all-world talent with Trevor Lawrence. I think he's could be good, but I don't see where he was this. Y'all, you know how they were hyping him,
exactly. That's my
Joe?
thing. Yeah,
Like they
and
were
I'll
hyping him
be
like he
honest.
was the next greatest, like 20 years. We ain't seen a quarterback like this 20 years.
Yeah, fact.
I don't believe that. You know,
I'll
so
say
I
this.
still
I'll
need to
say
see
this.
about him.
I may have put him there off of the hype. I'm gonna be
I did.
100%
I
honest with
put him
that.
at their hype too.
Because you got to. I
Let's
mean,
keep it
at
real.
the end of the day, you also look at you can say all that, and that's all fair. That's all 100% fair. I agree with you 100%. He has been very mediocre, if that. I mean, he's actually been pretty bad, if we're being
Man,
100% honest. But you look at Trevor Lawrence, you look at his team. That team had nobody. Like
true.
they had literally nobody. They had James Robinson, who I liked, but they ended up taking Travis Etienne for some reason. I didn't really understand. I knew like they had that connection, but it doesn't make sense that you have a running back already and you take another running back just to appease your quarterback. But they had a terrible offensive line, no real wide receiving weapons. Like, so I don't know. Maybe I'm being a little lenient. You know what I'm saying? Maybe that's what it is, but I think he'll get better. You know what I mean? I think
I
he'll
think
get better.
he's going to get better, but I don't think Joe he's that guy like the all world guy. Could be wrong, but I just don't see. I think he'd be good, but the way they were hyping him like he's the next guy, I don't see that. I need to see more from him. And like you said, when I look at the ranking, where I put him and where you put him, it was more so you was a number one draft pick. A lot of people like you. You were playing on a bad team with a bad coach who was terrible. So that's not good for any young quarterback to
Yeah,
come into, right? That's a terrible situation. So that's why I'm still like, well, let's see this year. You know what I
yeah,
mean? Because you got your guy, right? Your old guy, Peterson, right? Doug Peterson is their
yeah.
coach.
He got Dougie P.
So
Dougie P.
Dougie P, I don't think was a bad coach.
No, not at all.
I never said Doug Peterson was a bad coach, and I think that's going to be good for Trevor Lawrence. So I need to see Doug with him this year. Then I can get a better gauge of what Lawrence could be because it was shambles last year. But even in shambles, I didn't see the greatness that everybody was talking about.
Yeah. No, I agree 100%. I agree 100%. And I'm not gonna sit here and act like I watched every Jaguars game. I used to. There was a period
Right.
in my life that I used to actually go to Jaguars games and stuff. That wasn't. I'm not in that period anymore. Of my life. But, yeah, it is what it is. Like I grew up from that. But I used to live in Jacksonville, so it was fun. But obviously, I didn't watch every single game. But from what I have been able to see from being able to talk to the people that I do stay in contact with out there that obviously cover the team or are fans of the team, whatever you want to say, and listen, that's the feel that he was definitely disappointing. They still have hope because obviously there was nothing out there. So that's Trevor Lawrence. I think was a hot button topic. So I knew that was probably. I'm surprised you didn't say nothing about Carson or Baker. Are you cool with where
Oh,
they're
I'm
sitting
going to. I ain't done. I ain't done. Let's talk about Carson Wentz right quick. I like where you got him. I think I had almost around the same area with Carson Wentz. Carson Wentz, I mean, Carson Wentz to me is not a terrible quarterback. He has talent. I think the biggest thing with him is he's injury prone. He does silly things that doesn't make sense. And I feel like his leadership qualities, it's been following him since Philadelphia. It followed him in Indianapolis. And now he's got to prove over here with these Washington Commanders that he can lead because that's been the problem with him. So
Yeah.
that's why I would keep him at where you have him at. So I'm not mad at that because he's got to show he's got the talent to be higher up, but that mindset pushes him down in that realm to me, along with injuries. Now we got Baker Mayfield there, and I see why you put him there because we don't know about a Deshaun Watson. You feel me? I think somebody said in the chat he's not the Browns don't want to. They got we understand that, but we don't know nothing about Deshaun Watson right now. His thing is still unknown. So until that is settled, and he might get suspended, and if they hold on to Baker, they may keep him. He may play. We don't know what's going to happen with that, Joe. You feel me? So
Yeah.
if you're looking at the 23 ranking, Baker has won games. They did go to the playoffs, right? Did they go to playoffs with him? Yeah, they did.
With
They did go to
Baker,
playoffs.
I believe they went
Did they
once,
go?
right?
Yeah,
Didn't they
I
have
think they
like
did
1 year?
go on. Yeah, I think they did. But Baker showed, like I said, I think he's a backup. Don't think he's a starter, but he does have some talent to win you some games. He can throw the ball a little bit. So I'm feeling you with that ranking. He's in around that 20th range if we're talking about that, because I feel like he's not no trash quarterback. You feel me, Joe? Like I think
Yeah.
he can come in and win you some games. He's not trash.
Yeah.
But for a 16-game season, I'm not relying on him.
Yeah. No, I agree with you.
17-game season, excuse me.
Yeah, it's true. It's gonna be 35 games by the time the owners are done.
Right.
I think that I had to put him somewhere. I didn't think that he was as bad as the guys, obviously at the bottom of the list. I thought that, like you said, he's a guy that can at least go in there and win you some games. So it is what it is. So let's shift gears to your list, which were our
Mm-hmm.
lists, at least at the bottom, aren't too different. We're not too
Right.
far off from each other. So we started, where were
Mm-hmm.
we last time? With
20.
Trey Lance, right?
What?
So
Yeah.
28,
Yep.
right? So Justin Fields at 27, Trevor Lawrence at 26, Zach Wilson at 25, Marcus Mariota at 24, and Sam Darnold at 23.
Mm-hmm.
I like that.
What you think?
I like
What
that.
you think?
I like that. I'm obviously, I don't want to go on another tangent about Zach Wilson. You know how I feel.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Justin Fields, I love that position where he's at. I had him one above, so I can't be too upset. Marcus Mariota, where's he at right now?
Atlanta.
Okay. I know. Yeah, I knew he moved, and he probably will be their starter. He will be their starter. So that I'll eat crow on that. I probably should have had him on my list.
Yeah, the reason why I put Mariota there, I mean, hey, he went to the playoffs, right? He, he won some games over there with Tennessee, so he just has some injuries going on, and he's a dual threat guy. He's a dual threat guy, and with Atlanta, and you got the tight end over there, and I think he can do. Mariota. I don't hate Mariota. I don't hate Mariota. You know what I'm saying?
There's no reason to hate Mariota, and Mariota is good. And like I said, I will eat crow because I probably should have had him on my list. So I'm glad that you did. At least one of our brains was working, right? That's how it usually works. I really can't complain. Sam Darnold, I had lower on my list. I had him at 29. You have him here at 23. That's probably one I have to ask you about because I just don't see it with Sammy D. I just don't
You
see
know
it. We're
what I
seeing,
did?
Robbie
If
Anderson
you
might retire early.
right, you know why I did that? If you want me to be totally honest, because he has the experience over the younger guys. The ones that I have with the Trey Lance, I don't think he's better
Yeah,
than them, but I think he's got the experience, and those guys are inexperienced. So I think that's why I put him. If we're being totally honest, I put
I
the
respect
experience factor over the talent factor in that aspect. But if we're talking trajectory, yeah, he's below those guys.
that. Yeah, no, I respect that. I respect that. Other than that, I really can't. I'm not mad at any of these guys. Yeah. If anything, like I said, I think I should have had Marcus Mariota on my list. I'm glad you did. So I really can't complain with that. I really can't complain. It's a little bit different from mine, but it's like I said, we're pretty close. And we'll switch it up. We'll switch gears. Let's go the next 5 for yours, and then we'll go to
Okay.
mine. You know what I'm saying? Gotta
Okay.
keep them on
Okay.
their toes. You never know what's
Okay.
next. So,
Gotcha.
so from Sam Darnold, we go to Baker Mayfield, the artist formerly known as number 11. And then we got Jameis Winston, who I like, Jared Goff, Jalen Hurts. That's 5, right? Yes, yeah, so that's, I think I went 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No, that's 5. So Jalen Hurts.
Mm-hmm.
Look, I cannot be mad at which I know that's what everybody wants me to talk about. So I'll go last on Jalen Hurts. We'll start with
Okay.
Carson Wentz. We'll start with
Mm-hmm.
Carson Wentz. I like the Baker Mayfield spot, not mad at it. Carson Wentz, we'll see. I think that this is the most weapons that he's ever had. And we've said that before. This is probably the best wide receiving core that he's had. His offensive line is not the worst, but it's not the best, obviously, that he's had. So I think he can do some damage. He has 2 good running backs on that team, has a head coach that knows what he's doing to a certain extent. I know different people fall on different places when you talk about Ron Rivera, but I like Carson. I like Carson. Do I like Carson at that spot? I'm not sure yet. I mean, I do like Carson. But at 21, I think that may be a little bit high. But he might be even higher by the end of the season, if I'm being 100% honest. So,
Mm-hmm.
and then we go to Jameis Winston. Jameis Winston's gonna be a sneaky guy to look out for this year. I think if he can stay healthy, we saw last year that he was able to do some things when he was healthy with this offense. If he's able to stay healthy, obviously they don't have Sean Payton anymore. It's a lot of different, aspects going into this year, but he might be able to go out there and put up some good numbers for you. So I could see him there. I'm not mad at that at all. Jared Goff, where did I have Jared Goff?
Yeah, where did you have Jared Goff?
I had
You
Jared
had
Goff
Jared
at
Goff
22.
22.
Yeah,
Not
so I
not
mean,
not
not
far
too
off.
far off. Yeah, not too far off. I probably think, like I think that Jameis Winston's better than him, along with another guy that we'll get into. But you know what I'm saying? I think that Jameis is better than him. But we'll see. And then Jalen Hurts, I think that's where I put him. That's actually exactly where I put him. So I can't say
Yep.
anything negative about that. And just for everybody's sake, we did this and we didn't we didn't
We
collab
didn't
on
even
this. We
talk.
didn't.
We didn't
Yeah,
even
we didn't
talk.
even
We
talk
just
about it. He literally was
nope.
like, "All right, yours is done, mine's is done." Boom, and we did him
Mm-hmm.
that day. So I'm not mad at that. That's exactly where I put him. I mean, I really don't even have. I mean, I guess we could start the conversation about a Carson Wentz and why you think he's going to be, maybe better than I have him projected. But outside of that, I really like that list. I really do.
I mean, because when we look at it, right, my list right here, obviously we talked about Baker and Carson. Like I said, Carson. Everybody was talking about Carson being the next great, so people should chill. Like people forget how Carson did play good when he first came into Philly. He was. I mean, you can't doubt that. And he didn't have a terrible year at Indianapolis. His numbers were not bad at all. Now they kept it close to the vest because they had Taylor. So they really didn't let him throw the ball, really. I think he only averaged like 220 yards passing. So they kept it close to the vest with him. But to me, it helps the Commanders. I feel like this is the best quarterback they've had in a while. So I feel like he can help them win games because they didn't have that element over there at Washington. So that's why I have him. Jameis Winston. This is like, you know what Jameis Winston reminds me of? He reminds me of and they said it too. What's Ryan Fitzpatrick who just retired? He
Yeah,
reminds me of him. Jameis
I
Winston
can see
will
that.
come in, throw 6 touchdowns in one game, and you be like, "That's what I'm talking about." And then the next game, he'll throw 1 touchdown and 6 interceptions. You see what I'm saying?
Facts.
That's Jameis
Facts.
Winston. That is Jameis Winston. He is totally unpredictable, man. Like he'll go on a run where he'll be looking like, man, that dude is looking good. Then you'll see the next 4 or 5 games, and you're like, oh my god, what is wrong with this dude? So talent is there, but the mind, I don't know what's going on in his mind sometimes. I just feel like he's, like I said, sometimes he's too iffy. And I think this is his last chance with New Orleans to start. He
Yeah.
bombs it out. I feel like that he's done as a starter.
I think the
And
same could be said to a certain extent. I see everybody's getting upset that I even brought up Wentz and my hatred for him, but no, I think the same could be said about Wentz right now. Wentz is a very
it
wild
could.
card.
I definitely,
This is a
yeah,
year that he's gonna have to
this is
prove a
it.
lot. Yeah, so
This is
it's
last
interesting.
chance.
And it's funny because we talked about this, right? We said this early, and that's why I wanted to bring that up. On how much you thought it mattered. This was for you, 499 from JJ the Mime. You can read that out if you want. If you want, that's from your,
Okay.
I think.
I can read that out. JJ the Mom. Shout out to you, JJ the Mom. He's one of my great followers over there. Says, I like this Philly fan. He keeps it real, and I'm a boys fan. New son coming. Okay, I like that. See, that's what I'm saying, Joe. That's what I'm
Hey,
talking about, Joe.
I
He
love
said,
it.
I
I
like
love it.
this
That's why
Philly
we
fan.
do
He
this.
keeps it real.
That's
And that's why
why we do
that's
this.
the whole, yeah, this is the whole reason why we do this, because you don't want to, when I got my Cowboys people over here, I ain't had nobody here hating on you. Since we've
Yeah,
been
yeah.
doing this, now ain't nobody, hey, they got nothing but love,
It's
because
hard to, man. It's
yeah,
hard.
it's
No.
it's any sub to you, any sub to you.
I
That's what I'm
appreciate that.
talking
That's
about.
love. That's love.
So and that's real. That's the whole reason why we created this. We didn't want to have the yelling back and forth with the Philly
Exactly.
Cowboys. We want to have analytical talking football, and this is where you can get the good talk and not that screaming and yelling, because it's bigger than that. So shout out to you,
Exactly.
JJ Demond, for that great super chat and that great compliment to Joe, because it's very real.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I appreciate that. So, I mean, yeah, man. I
But
like what you
let
have
me
in
talk
mind.
about Jalen Hurts now,
Oh yeah, yeah,
because
yeah.
because we
Please
was
do.
going through
Please
that.
do. I love that.
Yeah, so Jared Goff, I got him at 19 because I feel like he did that Super Bowl thing. I never believed in no Jared Goff like that, but he wasn't too bad at Detroit. Campbell got them boys playing. You know what I'm saying? Them boys
Yeah.
is playing. Don't think Detroit is just going to be, if they keep that Campbell coach, I like him. If they keep him, don't think Detroit is just going to be them bottom feeders. I don't believe that. Now, I don't believe Jared Goff is the answer, but I think he's very serviceable, especially for that offense. So that's why I got him there. Plus, he's been to the Super Bowl. That helps. That's got to give you some merit to me. Then we're here with Jalen Hurts. I'm gonna just be honest with you. Jalen Hurts, I've never hated on the Jalen Hurts. I told you that from day one, Joe. When he came in, I said he's in the situation like a Dak Prescott. He low-key reminds me of the Dak Prescott, for real, for real. Great off field as far as the leadership. I believe everybody can flow with him. When he came in with Carson Wentz, I believe Carson Wentz was like the Romo, and Hurts was like the Dak Prescott, because one of the things that they said about Hurts, right? With same thing with Romo, supremely talented, but he wasn't a leader.
Yeah.
For real. Same thing they said with Romo and Dak. Supremely talented Romo, but he wasn't the leader. Nobody believed he was the leader. That's what Dak was, and that's where Dak pulled the team into him because of that leadership. And I feel like that's where Hurts' major thing is. He has to be more consistent. That's why I compared him to Dak. We got to get better with his throws and things of that nature. You can agree with me on that. But if he can really continue to get that part of his game and grow, when you already got all the other things that I believe helps you as a quarterback, then you have a chance. And so that's why I have there, because if he takes a next step and goes to that next level with that talent, it could be a very big problem. So, yeah, I'm going to put Hurts right there, and I'm going to be cool with saying that. And I don't really care how anybody feels about that, because I
Yeah.
don't hate Jalen Hurts. I don't hate Jalen Hurts.
Yeah, neither. And I don't hate Dak Prescott. Like, as a person who can, I hate anybody that puts on the Cowboys jersey for that game. Right? That's how it's supposed to be. But as far as, like, I want to see all these young brothers succeed, especially. You know what I'm saying? Go out there and get your money, man. I ain't gonna hate on nobody for that. And
Mm-hmm.
Dak Prescott ain't doing nothing in the playoffs, so why would I hate the man? Why would I hate the
And y'all, neither are y'all, so we ain't worried about that.
man? You know I had to throw my shot in there. You know I had to throw my shot.
Yeah, I feel you. I
Uh,
feel you. I feel you.
so all right, so now we're gonna go from my 18 to 22. I had Jared Goff, obviously. I had Tua. I had Tua Tagovailoa in there. I don't know. Maybe I'm gonna get roasted for
Tua,
this. Maybe I'm gonna
you
get
might
roasted
get
for this.
roasted.
Did you
I
have him
don't think
in yours
so.
at all?
Yeah, I had Tua in there. I
You
had
have
Tua
him
in there.
higher?
Tua is where's Tua with me? Yes, I think Tua is higher with me. I got him in like I think a top 15, and people are really gonna probably yell at me for that.
Mm. So all right, so yeah, so I have Tua at 21. I think that he's decent. I think that a lot of his success came off of short, quick passes. So I don't really know what he's gonna be. Obviously, he's just got the best wide
Yeah.
receiver in the league, so
So
that
we're
should help
gonna
him a
see. You
little
feel
bit.
me? We're gonna see.
Exactly. Now's the time. But I think that, I felt like that was a safe spot to put him. I felt like he can go up, he can go way up, he can go way down, in my opinion, with a season this year. And we'll see what happens. Jameis Winston at number 20. Not mad at Jameis Winston. I love Jameis Winston. I think that he's a good player, and I just think he's a little bit better than Jared Goff. That's why I put him there. Jimmy
Mm-hmm.
G. This will be an interesting one. I don't know where you put him. Where did you put him? You had him in the top in the bottom tier as well.
I had
So
him. Yeah, I had Jimmy at 16.
yeah, so Jimmy G, I put at number 19, Jalen Hurts at number 18. The two people I want to kind of highlight for my Eagles crowd is going to be Jimmy G and Baker Mayfield. And the one thing I always say to people, and the one thing I continually say is when they bring up a Jimmy G or a Baker Mayfield, is he a obvious upgrade? This is my official list saying that he is not. These two are not obvious upgrades in my opinion. So, yeah. How do you feel about where I got guys? Obviously, Jalen Hurts. We'll see where he goes, but he took us. He got to the playoffs with us. He made enough plays to show me that there is room for him to grow and to become an even better quarterback. So I think 18 is a fair spot. People might roast me for saying he's better than Tua, though. But what are you thinking?
Um, I like I said, he took y'all to the playoffs after his second year. Like, and y'all didn't have a supremely talented team. Y'all just had all that drama go on. You lost your coach, and for him to come in and do that, people got to look at that. No matter what you say. I mean, you can agree with me. I could probably disagree with a lot of people what they say. It's all good. This is an opinion-based thing. But to
Yeah.
me, after you get rid of Carson Wentz and you come in with a whole rookie coach, and you didn't have the talent and you still made the playoffs, I got to give you some kind of props for that. You get what I'm saying? I just have to. Because there ain't a lot of other teams doing it. So I got to give you the props for that. And then when we're talking about the other quarterbacks that you had on there, Matt, who'd you have? Jimmy, you had him above Jimmy G. I can see that because Jimmy G, if you listen to the San Francisco fans, they be hating on some Jimmy G.
Yeah.
they be mad at him. Like they be really mad at Jimmy G because they say 1 minute he'll do good, but they say he makes them goofy mistakes. Even when Dallas played the Niners, Jimmy kept us in the game.
Yeah.
Jimmy kept
Facts.
us in the game.
Yeah,
If
that's a
Dallas
big
would have
fact.
did a few things, we could have won that game. Jimmy Garoppolo kept us in that game. So
Yeah.
that should just tell you right there for me. And then you had what? Matt Ryan ahead of Jalen Hurts. That's legit. He's over there at Indianapolis. Matt Ryan, he's pretty much done, but he's kind of like, to me, like that Phillip Rivers, Indianapolis Colts type thing.
Yeah.
That he's a vet. He'll win you some games, but he ain't going to take you over the top. He's nothing but a stopgap right now. And Mac Jones, Mac Jones. I like Mac Jones. I can't front. I like Mac Jones. I don't know, I think he's perfect for the Patriots. That's all I'm gonna say with that.
Yeah.
That was a perfect place for him to go. And I think
Yeah.
that's why I like the way he plays. I like his potential. But I think if there was any quarterback to go to a marriage to a team, that Mac Jones to the Patriots was a perfect marriage to me.
Yeah, that was my first year, like really going in depth on these draft players, and like I told you, I was doing the script and all that at that time. So it was like I really went in depth on him, and I literally said that. I'm so glad that you said that because I literally said that in one of my shows. I was like, he's not a first rounder to me unless he goes to the Patriots. That's the only place that really, really made sense. And when he went there, I was like, see, Told you. And he's the guy to me that he wasn't out there breaking records. He wasn't the best, quarterback I've ever seen in their rookie year. He just got better every week. And I felt like there wasn't really an offensive game plan for him. And to see him do what he did in that type of, environment, I think speaks a lot to the kid. And I was not high on him in the draft process. So that was one of those guys that I definitely said, I was wrong about. And he did a lot better than I thought he would.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I felt like, when they were talking about him being in the top 5 and things like that, I was like, oh wow, heck no. But like you said, if the perfect team for him to go to was the Patriots. I just
Yeah.
really feel like that was the team for him to go to, because if he went to the other team, Joe, I don't think we would have saw what we would have saw. I feel like that was a
Nice.
perfect marriage for him to really bring out the best in him. So I think that's why I have him that high, because when you're playing with that team and Belichick, I think he's going to help give them a chance, and they're always going to be competitive compared to how they drafted him. If you understand what I'm saying, Joe, I know you do.
Yeah. No, and I like Mac Jones now. I'm not gonna, like I said, I was hating on him during the draft process. But you have Jimmy G ahead of Mac Jones and Jalen Hurts. So, I get where it's not that big of a drop, right? We're like literally talking about 16 compared to 17 compared to, you know what I'm saying? So it's not a
Mm-hmm.
huge, drop off of where I think these guys are going. Like I said, the top 32 gets very interesting at the top 15. But
Mm-hmm.
overall, if you're going back now that we talked through everything, like, is there anything you would change? Because one thing I would change, I'll say it off rip, is that I probably would have put Mariota on this list somewhere. Not really sure where. Looking at my my list, I'm not gonna lie to you.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm sure I
Mm-hmm.
would have fit him in somewhere. I should have fit him in somewhere. But looking at your list, how do you feel about your list? How do you feel kind of putting that out?
I probably would drop. I don't know where I put Tua, but he would probably be more in my 20s, to be honest with you. And looking at my list right now, I ain't gonna lie. The list I got so far, I ain't tripping off my list. I'm staying strong with my list. You know what I mean? Maybe I would have changed the Sam Darnold thing. He probably could have got dropped lower below those young guys. I would say that where I would have probably changed. But I was really going with his more experience over that. So I think that's where I may have changed. But anything else, yeah, I'm gonna stay where I'm at. I'm cool.
I respect it. I like it. Yeah, I like it. It's kind of like I said, Mariota. Outside of that, I really do feel strong about where I put everybody. I think the craziest differences that we had was probably Matt Ryan. It looks like you have Matt
Mm-hmm.
Ryan a little bit higher than I do.
Mm-hmm.
Tua, obviously, we can have that conversation. But outside of that, I think we were kind of solid in how we feel. This list kind of shakes up. So I think that's
Mm-hmm.
interesting. I really do feel like that's interesting, especially you look at the rivals. One name that's not on the list yet is a Dak Prescott, right? So
Oh
it
yeah.
pained
Well,
me.
yeah.
I hit you up after. I hit you up after. Was like, you have
Yeah.
no idea how bad I wanted to put him at like number 23, number 20. But he's not
Oh,
on
and
there yet.
you know it would have been totally wrong of you to do
It
that.
is what it is. It is what it is. Sometimes you got to do it.
It'd
I
have
mean,
been
but
totally
I like
wrong for
this
you.
list. I like this list. So next week we're gonna do
I
the
like it
top
too.
15. I kind of want to see how people feeling about the list. How do y'all feel about the list? And I've seen a lot of people asking us to do like top
I,
15
it
wide
was, I,
receivers, top 15 tight ends. So we definitely got to get that
let,
popping
I
as
mean,
well.
I ain't mad at it. We can definitely get it popping. Joe be coming with the great stuff. This is Joe idea. Joe come with the great ideas. I follow what Joe do. Joe comes with these fabulous ideas and fabulous ideas. Let's do it. You know what I mean? So if people want what they got, the song got to give the people what they want.
He says
Same.
so. Jimmy G made a Super Bowl. Jimmy G did make a Super. Did he make a Super Bowl?
Yeah, he made the Super Bowl a few years ago.
Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. I'm bugging out. I'm
That's why.
bugging
That's
out.
why.
I forgot.
That's why. That's why I showed Jimmy G that love. You know. He
Yeah,
went
Jimmy,
to a
it's crazy
bowl.
because I remember when Jimmy G like first came on the scene, right? He came in to with the
They
Patriots
were
and
talking about
everything.
he was the man.
Bro, he was the next Brady. He was the next Brady. It was
Right.
crazy.
Bill
It was
Belichick was
crazy.
trying to get rid of Brady for him. He wanted to keep Jimmy G and get rid of Brady. And because that's
Yeah,
why they signed him to all that money.
yeah.
That's why they went after him, because of what Bill Belichick was pumping up. We found out he just died.
A bunch of people saying, "Where's Dak?" Dak, you guys should be happy that Dak Prescott is not on this list. It took a
Oh,
lot
he
for me
ain't
to
on.
put
Yeah.
him on this list.
Oh, what? And we would have just been like, then I don't know. If you would have did that, then we would have some serious issues on this show, because you would have been lying.
It would have ruined the credibility.
You would have been
There's
lying. Yeah,
time
you
to
would have
troll.
been lying. That would have been
Yeah,
your
there's times to
haterism coming
troll.
out.
But I
Right.
think that we
That would have
have it
been your
differently.
trolling.
I will give away this
We
little bit
do.
of tidbit, this little
We
tidbit of
do.
information. We definitely have it
Go
different.
ahead. We definitely have it different.
I don't want to say exact numbers.
No.
You have him
But
far too high.
No, I don't have him far too
I
high.
have him at the right
I do
spot.
not have my quarterback. Listen, my Cowboys fans, I do not have too high. I personally feel he's in the perfect spot. And I think y'all would like where I like him, got him at Cowboys.
To be 100%
fans.
honest, I just did check. We have him at the same spot, actually. We actually do have him at the same spot. So
no, I know.
That is
you don't,
actually
because
funny.
you have a different spot, which I totally
Do I?
disagree who you put ahead of him.
Let me
I
see.
totally
Hold on.
disagree who you go look at it. Totally disagree
Yeah, hold
who
on.
you
I
put ahead
gotta
of him.
check because I might have just looked at mines twice by accident, which I think I did.
Yeah, go look at that. I couldn't believe you did that.
I gotta check it before I you know.
Go in your
Oh,
DM right
yeah.
now.
Oh,
Yeah, I couldn't believe you
yeah.
said that. You said that for real?
I believe that.
You
Yeah,
did that.
I'm cool.
No,
with
you
that.
can't believe that.
I'm cool with that.
You
I'm
shouldn't
cool
be
with that.
though. No way.
I'm cool
You
with
believe
that.
that, Joe. That's why y'all gonna love this show next week, y'all. Y'all gonna really love it next week, because the two people the quarterback we're talking about with Dak. Oh, y'all gonna love this, because I don't agree with this at all.
Should we bring on guests for that one? Should we bring on guests for that one? We might have
that's
to do
cool,
that.
but that guy you have ahead of Dak, no way. He's a hype guy.
I need to talk, because I have a good friend that does Arizona Cardinals content on here. I would not mind having that smoke on this channel, because I
bring that smoke.
Stand behind it.
I know what he's going to say. I know what he's going to say.
I just kind of gave it away.
I already know it. Yeah, I already know he's going to say.
I just messed up.
If you bring that guy, I know you did, but you just edited it.
Yeah, yeah, we gonna edit it after the show. It's all getting cut out. It's all getting.
You'll be like, no, my brewery.
Yeah. Oh man, I didn't even think it. See that? Oops. It is what it is. It is what it is. But before I get, I'm like the Hulk. I'm like the Hulk for all the Marvel movies. Is it Marvel or DC that they do? I don't even know. I'm about to get killed in these chats, man. I'm about to get killed in these chats. But I like the bliss. So next week we'll do the top 15 for both. And that'll be fun. Maybe we will get some guys on here to help us have the conversation. That'll be a fun conversation to have. But anything you want to say before we do get out of here?
No, just once again, another grow. I love how we're once again, I'm gonna give you 100% proper restream, big dog. You know what I'm saying? Because it's just made this so much better that we can do it on the dual channels. I love that. And once again, just please continue to support this. The more you guys interject and say, hey, just like you said with the receivers, defensive ends, things of that nature, you guys bring it out there. Hey, why don't you guys do this? We listen to the people. We listen to you guys, and we try to morph the show into what you guys like as well. So I think this is going to be an exciting thing. Once again, Joe, and just my final thoughts is, man, I'm excited for this season, what we're doing. You get what I'm saying? What we're doing for this season, I'm very, very excited about it, because I don't think it's really been done, which you have two content creators really talking about their season each week and going through it. So I think you really guys should really continue to support this. It's grown leaps and bounds from where it started. So just continue to support both our shows. Philly podcast, Big Game James, because I really love where this continues to head, man.
Facts. Yeah, it took a little while. People didn't really understand. It was like, why y'all so nice to each other, man? Why y'all getting along? But I
You
really
hear what
do
Rome
love
said?
it.
You hear what Rome said? And thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you, Rome. I'm gonna say this again before you say your last words. Can we put James' name in blue, please, and stop putting it in the green? Thank you, Big Rome. I appreciate you,
Nah,
Big
I
Rome,
like it
for
like
that.
that.
I said
Well,
that
well, we
last
changed the
time.
background. You like the background?
No,
You
but
like the
it
new
don't
background?
matter. You put. I think the last time with me and Rome on there, you put both our names in green.
I did.
Stop that.
All right, we're gonna change it up. I promise. We're gonna change it up. But no, I mean it is what it is. But it has. I do love the community that we have built and that we are building. This is a lot of fun to go through these comments, and I'm gonna get better at getting through the comments and everything. But yeah, like he said, man, let's just keep growing this. Let's keep growing this family and have fun this season, because this season is gonna be amazing. This year, I'm gonna be doing. I don't even think I told you yet. This year, I'm gonna be doing at a local bar where we have a whole bunch of I think it's 1,000+ members already, Eagles fans in Tampa. I'm going to be doing my shows live from there. So sometimes that I'm going to be doing the best of enemies, I'll be there. Some of the games, I'll be there. So that's something I'm very excited for. And to include you guys in it is going to be a lot of fun as well. So this season is going to be a lot of fun, James. And maybe
Man, it
we'll
is.
even change your name to Blue. Like there's so many possibilities.
You better, because it's just because I feel like you're cheating right there. You keep it real all the way through. You have me in the blue, and you have your green over there. Okay,
I got you. We're gonna make the change. I
all right.
promise. Then next week, so
Appreciate
everybody
that.
tune in next week so you guys can see his name in blue and you guys can be happy and you guys can stop yelling at me. But we are also gonna do the top 15. And I've said this on my Twitter, guys. Send us your top 32 list. Next week we can spend a half hour just kind of going through your guys' lists, and we'll give you how we think about him, how we feel about him. If you guys have him on Twitter, send them to James. If you have me on Twitter, send them on over to me. Other than that, ain't got much to say, man. I appreciate everybody tuning in. Be sure to hit that like, hit that subscribe, join the family. But that is James, and I am Joe, and this has been Best of Enemies. Peace.
Peace.
We're brothers. We're happy and we're